So they show up and Yami just starts sucking, dude. He just starts sucking. He starts sucking the souls out. I'm going over the list of things that we're supposed to be talking about.
That was insane.
So, okay, what do you want me to say then?
I don't know what these Bleach episodes bring out in you, but
in you, dude. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we highlight and discuss new series each week. But today, we are finally back with more Bleach, which means that today, my name is Josh the Vizard Michaels, and today I am joined by
Mehgan Perrine.
Mehgan Perrine.
That's how you pronounce it, right?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah,
Gillian.
yeah. It's just weird that you'd call yourself one of the weaker.
I know where I rank.
I
know where I rank.
Okay. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Volume 1. Today we're back with more Bleach, which means we're back to some more Dankai. Haven't said that in a long time.
Very exciting.
I'm actually extremely excited to talk about what we read today. Today, we're going to be covering the Arrancar Arrival arc. That is chapters 184 through 229. We're back. I feel like I have to say this every episode, every time we cover Bleach. We're going to get to it. When we get to it, we love reading this series, and I think you'll find that we loved reading this a lot more than even Soul Society. So us not being able to get to it consistently every week does not mean that we have dropped the series or have lost interest in the series. We just wanted to take some time to get to some other series that we have been putting off for a long time. So
also just exactly that, and just schedule. I mean, it is a lot.
Yeah, our schedule's crazy.
Reading, but we're back for a little bit.
Yeah, we're back, and again, expect more Bleach, but I just can't say that it's going to be every single week. But it's always a treat when we do get to cover it. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, I am very excited to talk about this arc today. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to talk about it with you because I want to know, just having read this, and we read the entire arc, or part of this arc, which is the arrival part of this arc. Mm-hmm. We were kind of talking before we record, which we don't usually do, but after reading Soul Society and just the hype that Soul Society gets, you kind of expressed feeling a little more passionately, or you were a little more excited about what you read in this part versus Soul Society. So I just kind of want to get your thoughts on this arc, and even kind of like, now that you have the perspective of Soul Society, how you feel about it compared to this, and just your experience with the Bleach fandom kind of overhyping this previous arc.
Yeah, I mean, even you were saying how good Soul Society is, keep reading or keep watching, and then it pops off in Soul Society. And I would agree that it pops off in definitely fights, it pops off in reveals, it pops off in character introductions, like that I would totally agree with. But for me personally, like, it just wasn't as fun to read as I would say this arc is. I've expressed before that I wasn't really a shonen fan. When I started getting into anime, started reading manga, the more I read of different series, the more I kind of grew to okay, this isn't as bad. This is actually fine. Because I do like a little bit of just I don't know, that's not slice of life, but a little fun, I guess.
Fun for sure. And when things slow down and you get to spend time with the characters.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember just reading the beginning of this arc, I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was just talking to you about how much I liked the beginning of Bleach. I had no problems with the beginning of Bleach. I thought it was just fun. I liked the relationships, the classmates, Rukia and Ichigo, all of the, humor, Cone, all of it. I was really, really a big fan of. And then we went into Soul Society, and I don't know if it was just because of how long it was, or how long they were there, or, just the fight scenes and the, not exposition dumps, but just explaining all the rules of Bankai and all of that stuff. It was interesting, yes, but I think that I had way more fun reading this beginning of the arc than I did reading a lot of Soul Society, and I know people are gonna come at me, but that's just my opinion.
Well,
I'm sorry.
have to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to come to your defense because I agree. When I was first experiencing Bleach, I was a lot younger, and Soul Society was the hype moment for me. It was the moment that sold me on the entire series. That was when I was in high school. After going back and rereading it, I felt like it was nostalgic, number one, and it was hype, number two, but also from a different perspective, given the life experience I had gained since then.
The other series that you've read too.
Especially, yeah. I did find it to be slightly overwhelming. I was looking at it through a different lens, like you said, because of all the other series that we've covered. And it's not that it didn't live up to the hype in my memory, because there were so many moments that did. But I think that, my taste has changed, and what I connect with and what I look for in a series has changed. And, the feeling that I had after Soul Society was, man, am I going to feel like this for the remainder of our Dunkai series? But I was pleasantly surprised when I revisited this arc, because it was an absolute blast. It was absolutely amazing. It was incredible. It was completely different. It had a completely different tone. It had a completely different feel.
Yeah, I loved it. It felt like, early volumes of Bleach, which I was like, yes, that's what I loved reading. That's what I wanted to have more of, and I'm so glad we did. And I'm so glad that we get to meet like this brand new cast of characters. I mean, honestly, like the whole Aizen situation is interesting, but I'm not really too much. I don't want to say invested, but I don't know. I just like seeing Ichigo and like all of his friends, or Hime, like Chad, just do beat up some freaking hollows. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, I mean, what I wrote down here, best I think describes sort of my feelings about everything and these arcs compared to one another, and that is that in Soul Society, the goal felt very singular, and everybody's motivation felt very singular. Everybody was kind of doing the same thing, trying to save Rukia, and they all had their things that they needed to overcome along the way. But it was, again, there was something about it that felt more singular. Here, it seems like the characters are dealing with emotions that are a little more complex. Like everybody's kind of dealing with things in a different way, and they're all kind of on their own journeys, discovering their own power or their own paths. And I connected with that a lot more too, as well as the character dynamics from Soul Society. They've already been established. We already know these characters and their relationships with one another, and their relationships with, Ichigo, the Ichigo gang, and everybody included in that. So when they get reintroduced, it's fun because we've already gone through chapters and chapters and chapters of learning about who they are.
Yeah, and it's fun because we're not in Soul Society anymore.
I mean, yeah, that too.
Like seeing them in their uniforms brought me like so much like joy. I like smiled ear to ear, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. I was expecting it to be another gang of like people trying to fucking take down Ichigo, but it was very, very fun. And again, I mean, just all of the relationships, like Chad and him wanting to get stronger, and him like kind of realizing like the only way I could fight by Ichigo's side is to become stronger. Or Hime being jealous. Like I loved how they handled that. I loved finally that was like brought to light more, because she had made like, comments or thought of things or faces before, but she really, really, really felt it when Rukia came back. And I was just like, damn, like it was just so relatable. It was so relatable. Because like we've all been there, just like, and yeah.
For me, I want to mention the Chad thing because you brought it up. In terms of Chad, how he had to deal with it, it is, yes, Chad wanting to become stronger, but how he gets to that point, I thought was even handled extremely well, where they're in this like battle situation, and Ichigo just says something like on reflex. He doesn't even think about what he's telling Chad. He just says like, Chad, don't worry about it. Hang back. I got it. And Chad kind of, because we learned in Soul Society that they fought together, that they had each other's backs. And now Chad feels like, well, damn, like maybe maybe I'm not strong enough to have Ichigo's back anymore. Maybe Ichigo's never going to trust me to have his back again. And just, it's a very it's an emotion that we see, or a character reaction we see in other stories, but it just felt very personal and I connected with it more. And same with Orihime, like this whole arc felt like, even though Orihime wasn't at the forefront of it, it was a lot about her. Like, it was about her jealousy, her powers.
Yeah.
And
there was some times where I was like, okay, girl, just, you can, I know. I love how it's alluded to, like, her power isn't just healing. It's something else. It's something greater, which was really cool. Same with Chad. They kind of alluded to, like, his power being similar to, like, ... I like how they're leaving their, like, abilities open-ended. It's not just like, this is their ability and then, we're moving on. This is, they could train to be better, but to not really know what their true abilities are yet is really, really interesting. Really fun. And, also, I want to say I wasn't that impressed with Ishida this arc.
He just didn't really do anything. He's
but
literally just off training.
But even so, I mean, it was just like, he wants to get his powers back, so he agrees to not, run with the Soul Reapers anymore. But then he gets his powers back by just, like, getting shot. Like, it just kind of felt like it could have been I feel like it just could have been cooler. Like, you get your powers through this, like, if you defeat me or something. Not just like, I don't know. It just kind of felt just like a throwaway.
It did feel like something that was just kind of happening in the background, because it was. And I get why you would feel that way. I didn't really have a problem with it necessarily, but after hearing you explain it that way,
just a little bit.
I definitely get it.
Just a little bit. And how, his dad, I just wanted them to explore that more. Hopefully they might in the next couple chapters or volumes. But yeah, I just felt, Ishida, like, killed it. Like, Ishida was one of the highlights for me in Soul Society. To see him, like, kind of take a back seat was kind of like, oh, man.
Yeah. 100%.
But I mean, it is what it is. There were so many other characters to latch
on
to.
So many other characters. Not only did we get the Vizards, which is, I think, how I remember them pronouncing it in the anime when I watched it.
I'm obsessed.
In high school, but
it's like the freaking what's it called? What is it?
Just spit it out.
Hunter. It's like the freaking
the Phantom
Troop. Is it the freaking Phantom Troop?
Well, the Phantom Troop is more like the Arrancars, right? And then the Vizards. Because I don't think the Vizards are like the Phantom Troop.
No, they're not like them, but just like these unique, like, random characters that look like they wouldn't fit together.
I mean, that's
kind of like,
No, I get that. I
just
get
a
that.
little bit, but not like based off of like what they're actually doing. But all of them, I mean, like freaking Grimjaw, I was like, damn,
finally we get to see him.
Yeah.
Which, I've heard that Grimjaw is, and because this is just to talk about their character designs for a second. And I'm talking about the Vizards and the Arrancar, which both, I think, Jesus Christ, Kubo, like, how do you just have these in your mind? These, like, they just ooze swagger, I mean, every single one of them. And how do you just keep cranking out these fucking drippy ass, cool ass characters? But he gives us like a whole group of 2 of them. And in terms of like the Arrancar and what we learn later is like the separate group called the Espadas, which is sword. Espadas. Which is sword.
A lot of Spanish.
Kubo loves the Spanish.
He does, I guess. He does.
No, he really does.
Okay.
I looked into it a little bit in preparation for this episode and just found out that Kubo did just like the language and wanted to use it in his story. I think he said in an interview somewhere that he did think that the Spanish language, because, obviously I have family from Mexico, and even some stories I've heard from my aunts and uncles from my grandparents who lived in Mexico when they lived in Mexico. They were, I don't know if they were necessarily into or a part of, or were definitely surrounded by a lot of this sort of like, sort of black magic type of stuff. But I think he said something about that. Like there's this like
sangria.
It's not sangria. It's Santeria.
Oh yeah, that's a wine.
Sangria is what you drank before this episode. But
that was really good. I didn't drink sangria. I didn't.
You have to clarify. That's not a good sign.
That was
Mehgan.
yesterday. Yay! No, I'm just kidding. That was really good. But
And I just before I forget, so yeah, he because of that being a part of the culture, he thought like, oh, it'd be cool for the villains to kind of all have these like Spanish names, Hueco Mundo meaning hollow world, Espada meaning sword, all these things. And the name of the Espadas are actually all based off of like designers and architects. What that it means or implies is, I think, going to be found out later. But
they're building the new world.
There you go. Maybe it's already been found out by Mehgan. Sherlock.
I got it.
Mehgan over here.
And I
Sherlock
did hear.
Perrine.
I did hear. I don't know if I think it was someone in our comments as well, and then also like my great. I don't know how you say great, like uncle. What's like your grandma's brother?
I don't know.
Whatever. They like kind of mentioned to me that I think he studied Japanese, and like Japanese is really close to like Spanish in pronunciation sometimes. Not necessarily like the way you speak it, but like just the way it's pronounced, which is like really interesting.
You know, that is interesting.
That's just a little tie.
I appreciate it.
Together.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Sangria.
Centuria
Do you think
Sangria.
they have a Santeria Sangria?
Probably.
Do you think they have a Santeria
All
Sangria?
right. Anyway, she's spiraling. But so I really did like the character designs. I thought they were awesome.
Awesome.
And Grimjaw, what I was going to say about Grimjaw is that he is actually, I have over just slightly out of frame on our manga shelf, I have Zombie Powder #1, which is Kubo's work prior to Bleach. And the main character of that series is Grimjaw is sort of like a redesign of that character. And you could even see he has this like metal plate on. You could kind of see it on the spine there. He kind of has like a metal plate on the side of his face, which has been replaced by, obviously the hollow mask on Grimjaw. But, and even the cover of Zombie Powder #1, the first time Grimjaw is ever on the cover of a Bleach manga, he's doing the exact same pose that character is doing.
Cute.
So it's like an homage and a redesign of this like classic or one of his first characters that he had in one of his first series, which Zombie Powder I think is a lot of fun and it's something I'd like to revisit someday. But yeah, I absolutely love these characters, their dynamics, everything about them. They were just, and I think you said this word, and it does kind of just encapsulate everything on top of the emotions that everybody's dealing with. It is just, and a lot of it does just feel fun. Like I'm having fun.
I'm just really entertained in a different sense. Like obviously like seeing those fights between all the captains was really, really cool. And, the suspense of like who's going to team up next or who's going to run into who, or, how are they going to get everyone on the same page when it comes to Rukia? What is the final goal? Who is running all of this? And then the reveal, obviously, I know I unfortunately had it spoiled.
Right.
But there was a reveal in this one that I would argue was a way better reveal.
The reveals in this were crazy.
I was shook. I was like, of course.
Yeah.
I was like, of course. Wow. Yeah. And I called it. I made a theory immediately after I stopped reading it. And I was like, is this going to be one of those situations?
Yeah.
And Josh was like, I don't know. We'll see. And then it ended up being exactly. I was like, God damn it. It's not true, but the reveal was awesome. And I am so happy I did not get that spoiled. And I don't know. It might be better. It might be for me.
I remember exactly where I was at when I was like immediately transported to where I was at when I read that and just that same feeling. And the Eisen thing for me, because social media Bleach wasn't as talked about at the time and everywhere at the time, I was, able to find that out and have it not be spoiled at all. So that was a crazy reveal, but I do remember this reveal being even kind of crazier. And that is one of the things, now that we've gotten to this point, that is one of the things that when I went back and started we started rereading it, I was like kind of looking for that to see if there were any signs, because there are things in other, Bleach videos that I've seen where people say that if you really, 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 really start picking it apart, that, certain aspects of the reveal of Ichigo's dad being a Soul Reaper don't perfectly line up. But I'm of the camp that's just like, it makes enough sense, and it's such a cool moment that I loved it.
Yeah, well, Kubo said, Kubo's just like, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
Like people were like, this has to happen because this doesn't make any sense. He's like, but it's cool and I like it.
Well, I think that's part of it too. When you're kind of figuring out a lot of stuff, while you're doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna have to kind of.
I mean, I'm sure that was a big key part of his plot in the beginning, but it was just so cool to see, and it did
because he has a line that he says when he is revealed or reveals himself to Kon. He says, "Yeah, I always knew you were Kon. That's why I never didn't. You notice I never called you Ichigo, and you were in his body." Yeah,
we have that. I mean, obviously the little emblem or the necklace, the charm that he gets from his dad. I think that was like at the speech at the cemetery.
Yeah, that was at the Grand Fisher.
Yeah.
The first time we meet the Grand Fisher, which we do get to see him again.
And I remember really like having like feeling like really impacted by that moment, and because obviously it was emotional, but. Because maybe I didn't think that would be the case, but I kind of maybe I like thought that he maybe had something more to do with it. At first, I thought it was his mom that had the spiritual energy, and that's the reason why he was able to. Ichigo's like able to do what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense that his dad would be a part of that. I mean, he looked awesome. He looked so sick.
Yeah. And it's cool because at this point in the story, we don't know what his relationship is with Soul Society. We don't know what his relationship is with the other captains. Like
with Bucket Hat.
I mean, he did talk to Urahara and there was something there, but with everybody else, we don't know.
Oh, of course.
What his relationship is with them.
Yeah, because it's been like he said he's like 20 years?
20 years.
Since he put on the old dusty robe.
Yeah. I think, the reason I wanted to talk about all of this stuff up top is just because even me, upon reread, just want to say that this is what I love about Bleach, and I am rediscovering that I love about Bleach. In my mind, I couldn't wait to get to Soul Society because I remember how that felt when I was younger, and now that I'm here, I'm just like re-energized and I'm excited to continue. And the thing about Bleach is it's such an easy read, and it's such a I think. It's a fast read. It's something you can get through fairly quickly.
There's a couple. I mean, this one was about like 50 chapters.
Almost. I think it was like 49.
49 chapters. I mean, Soul Society was what, over like 100.
Well, Soul Society is also in like the arrival.
No,
the
exactly,
rescue,
like all those parts.
The sneak entry.
Yeah, so that's maybe why it felt so. Like okay, like what's gonna happen after this? I want to see something else that's not Soul Society. But like you said, this is totally what I loved about Bleach when we first started reading it. I never not liked it, but I was just like in that Soul Society, not rut, but just being like, is this ever gonna be what it was?
Yeah, and so
it is. I feel like it's like totally back, and I totally am like living for this arc.
Yeah. I kind of want to pose that question to anybody who is rereading it with us, or has been rereading it or reread it recently on their own. I just wonder if anybody else had that same feeling, because again, when most of the fandom talks about Bleach, a lot of it is Soul Society.
Or people say it's bad after Soul Society.
But I think it just gets so much more fun, and I can't express how much I truly enjoyed reading this arc. I flew through it, and like you said, I'm living for it once again. Not that I wasn't, but I do feel like I'm living. I feel like I got a little more life.
I'm living a little bit more. Yeah.
I'm living a little better.
Yeah, a little better.
Cushier,
a little cushier, a little friendlier.
Yeah.
A little nicer.
Yeah.
I'm here.
I'm here. I'm here, right here with you. So let's start going through it then.
Cone with lace and a maid headband.
That's
so
cool.
Cute.
That's a sound.
He looked so cute. I loved how that opened. I was like, yes.
And it's cool to see Cone again after so long. Too.
Yeah. And we talked about pervy characters on this podcast.
Yes.
There's a couple that were like, not the best moments from that character. He was very like, I mean, there were moments where I was like, damn, Cone, chill.
Yeah. But I think I think
but it's not like all the time, but it was just.
But I think the thing with Cone is that's kind of who Cone has always been.
Yeah.
And again, it's also kind of how far it gets and how everybody else reacts to it that makes it so funny, I think. And I did find, I did feel myself feeling the same things where I was like, damn, Cone, chill. But it was always so funny to me. And it
it's-
never felt like, I was never like put off by it.
No, and it would be different if like all the people that he was like, you know, talking to Orihime or what's her name?
Oh, yeah. Well, I call her Matsumoto because it's easier for me to say.
Matsumoto.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, he just gets his ass beat by Rukia, by Matsumoto.
Yeah,
And
I think it's not that a character is pervy that either of us have any issue with. It's just how that character is handled. And I think Kon
how
is,
much it is.
and how-
how much it is.
and if it's overdone.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the reactions definitely are like, okay, this is better than them just being like uncomfortable or like embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, because they show
leave
you
them
that
alone.
Cone poses no threat
No.
to
He gets
them
his
at
ass
all.
beat. Yeah.
To any of them, really.
No.
But yeah, we see Ishida fixing up Cone. And again, right from where this arc starts, we're starting to get into some of those like more complex emotional sort of dynamics
Mhm.
where we last left off, Orihime had told Ichigo that Ishida is just, he's definitely going through something and he just doesn't want to talk about it. He just doesn't want to open up about it or burden people with it. And Ichigo is kind of reflecting on this and starting to notice it himself. And he's really starting to question what he should do. And maybe even feel a little guilty about asking him to come along to Soul Society to save Rukia.
That's all Ichigo does is feel guilty.
Yeah, I mean, this arc especially, that's all he does.
Bleach is all about feeling guilty and get your arm chopped off.
And a lot of people get their arms chopped
A
off.
lot of people get their arm chopped off and then they grow back.
And then they grow back usually.
Usually.
A lot of people getting limbs chopped off and yeah.
A lot of feeling guilty.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In a nutshell, you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of rescuing that
A
happens.
lot of rescuing, a lot of feeling guilty, a lot of arms chopped off,
Yes.
and a lot of hollows.
Yeah, and a lot of hollow. But this was a really cool moment too, because now Ichigo's starting to realize it and he's kind of struggling with that. But here is kind of like Ishida kind of has a cool moment, or there's a cool reveal with him, and then he kind of disappears for the remainder of this arc. But while Ichigo's acknowledging that Ishida's lost his powers and struggling with that, there's also a new student that is introducing themselves to the class, a new student by the name of Shinji. And I remember the first time that I remember being young and reading Bleach, and the first time I ever was introduced to this character, absolutely for whatever reason, being obsessed.
You wanted a bowl cut.
I didn't want a bowl cut, but I mean, you have seen videos of me in a newsy hat. Which was like the craziest decision I ever made.
Can you please just put a photo of it? Can you please just screenshot a photo
I'll try.
the newsy hat? Because it is epic and it is
It's not epic, it's not a
fabulous.
word that I would use. It's epically cringe, if anything. I don't know where I got that in my head, but
But you like this character? Didn't you like always name your like, I don't know, did you have like usernames with this character? Like you had a wallpaper with this character?
I mean, I probably had a wallpaper, but I didn't
I forget
name-
who you were talking. Maybe it's not this character, but I remember you being like obsessed with someone. Maybe in Bleach? Was there someone in Bleach?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Not relevant if I don't know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, I was obsessed with his character design the moment he came on page, and even like rereading it, I'm like, damn, he just looks. There's something about him that I just like love. His hairstyle, the clothing, just again the swag, dripping. They're just dripping swagger.
He's kind of a cross between like, I mean, this is like super inside, but that Yelena from Attack on Titan.
Yelena, from
You know,
Attack on
the
Titan.
bowl cut lady, the blonde bowl cut lady. That's like a,
Oh yeah.
Her?
Oh yeah. Okay.
and then also, like a character from Soul Eater.
Which character?
There's a witch, like a frog witch.
Okay. All right. Megan's starting a lot of statements without knowing fully
Hey, it's okay.
what she's going to be expressing.
Bleach will clean
Your soul
my slate and my soul.
and your hole. People do that. And we haven't made
People do that.
we haven't made a whole joke on a Dunkai episode in a long time. It's been a long time to allow us one bleach my hole joke. Anyway, love this character. Ichigo kind of meets him briefly, then runs off to take care of a hollow. He's a deputy Soul Reaper now, dude. He's got fucking business to attend to.
And he runs into this freaking Afro guy.
Oh, yeah. I wrote his name down.
That guy's funny.
Zenosuke Kurumaran or something like that.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's so funny. Dude.
Yeah.
He's always just kind of in the background.
Like running around, like not really doing shit. Always like trying to find them, and then like Ichigo or someone else like defeats them, and he's like, fuck.
Forever just a background character that's kind of struggling. And like also like when all the other captains get there, like they don't invite him to hang out and like be a part of their meetings and stuff. He's just kind of, he's just kind of there.
Yeah, well, he's not a captain.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I mean, even Ichigo's Ichigo's kind of like a freshman hanging out with the seniors, Yeah.
Actually, that is the most accurate description of Ichigo and his relationship to the rest of them that I've ever heard. He's a freshman hanging out with seniors.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's cool.
Yeah, he's too cool. This is that that character was very funny. Ichigo goes out at night again and puts Kon in his body, and that's where Kon's he's been itching to get back in Ichigo's body so he could get up to some
mischief.
Some pervy mischief. And this is where he meets up with Shinji again, and they cross blades, if you will. And
is that code name for something?
You can call it crossing blades. You can call it crossing streams. That's another thing. Or you could call it a lightsaber fight.
Oh.
A lightsaber fight, which is something I used to hear the kids talk about in school when I was in high school. I used to hear guys just talk about they would put like glow in the dark condoms on, and they would have lightsaber battles.
Stop.
I don't know if it was a real thing or not. I never got invited to one of the freaking Jedi Council or whatever. I never. But apparently,
you're like, excuse me, and then you like tip your newsy boy hat, and you're like, where is the?
May I join? And then another one comes out because I'm dual wielding.
Whoa!
Comes out of my whole society.
Whole society.
Yeah. And then I just start spinning. That's why I love it.
You can do the sound. Oh my God. You can do the sound.
A lot of Star Wars, a lot of lightsaber fights, if you know what I mean. We had to make our own sounds, But he tells Ichigo he better keep his fucking spiritual energy in check because they're gonna fucking notice, dude. And the Menos Grande start coming through to the world of the living, and with them, I think they're Menos Grande, / Arrancar, but they're like beta testing Arrancar.
Yeah, they're not like fully developed Arrancar.
Yeah,
which is like what they were told is like it's gonna be a while before we get those.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, let's hear.
Yeah, okay, well, then what the fuck is this?
Yeah, what is this? What are all of these things? What are these 20 plus things? Like,
but one of those test subjects is the Grand Fisher.
I was like, what?
Yeah, we finally get to see him come back after forever.
I mean, yeah, we were waiting for Grand Fisher to come back.
I mean, I just didn't.
We were on the edge of our seat. Like, what an asswipe. Grand Fisher's a bitch.
I knew Ichigo was going to be able to fucking, easily defeat him, but I was waiting for that resolution. Even though Ichigo didn't get that resolution, it was kind of cool who did get it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
And Shinji then reveals his hollow mask. He is a Vizard, which is a Soul Reaper. So all these people were Soul Reapers who crossed over into the world of the Hollow.
And I mean, going into that, I mean, I guess I could talk about it later, but I just wanted to, before I forget, like, he was, Ichigo was, did he know that before he started training with them? Because then, what's his name? Shinji was like saying all of these like inside baseball terms, and he's like, how do you know that?
Well, they were talking about more specifically and I always struggle to remember,
like the holification process.
Not the holification process, but more specifically the thing that Urahara embedded in Rukia's Gigai that allowed Aizen to perform this thing.
Okay.
Because that was supposed to be the super secret thing.
Okay.
And he's like, how do you know all about that thing?
Okay. And he goes, you shut up, boy.
Yeah. It got pretty crazy.
He really yelled at him.
And speaking of Star Wars, I guess the Vizard do kind of remind me of, it's like, they're kind of like Jedi maybe who have dabbled in the dark side of the Force a little bit.
I mean, willingly.
Maybe they're like gray wielding lightsaber Force users. What do they call it? They call like gray something. Gray people. I don't know.
Gray.
Willing grace. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. The gray side of the Force.
Mm.
But I love his relationship with not just Ichigo, but everybody back at school, and even Orihime. Like that little moment that they have was so funny.
Yeah.
But this is why when we cut back to the little bit of Ishida that we get, and we see a character named Ryukin who shows up to save Uryu, who ends up being Ishida's dad.
I can't handle any more dads being introduced. Okay, I can't handle it.
Well, this is before we got the Ichigo dad.
I know
reveal.
they're all too fine.
Oh my god.
They're all way too fine. Kuba needs to chill. Kuba needs to slow down. Kuba needs
you
to
do
chill.
seem to have this affinity for like, you know, these monster characters and these like grown ass men. These like fucking like dads.
I'm just saying, like in the flashback, he was not that hot. He got hotter.
Who got hotter?
Ishida's dad.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, because you were
I was
paying attention.
not very impressed. I was not very impressed when we first saw him.
Nothing. Your senses, your spider senses, weren't tingling.
But freaking Rukin and then freaking Ishin Kurosaki, I was like,
yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah, they're dads and they're daddies.
Anyway, I don't know if I can handle anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you better strap in. You better buckle up. None of the Arrancar or none of the, I guess, Espadas are doing anything for you right now?
I mean, the only one would be Grimjaw, but yeah, not really anyone else, no.
Okay. I mean,
Shinji, no.
I get why Shinji wouldn't,
Shinji, no.
But even none of the other Vizards, none of them are really like doing it for you?
I mean, no. No.
I like the, I like a lot of them. You know,
I like Renji.
Oh, see, yeah, Renji, yeah, of course. Renji's not a dad.
Yeah, he's not like
he is a dad.
Yeah.
But you when you read this too, you said like, damn, like this so reminds me of JJK. I think it was just in like character design, maybe.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean,
and this is like the Ryukin Ishida dad character.
Again, I understand, but I immediately saw this character, and of course, like he doesn't have the glasses like the guy. I don't even know his name. I'm super disrespectful.
Out of pocket.
I'm out of pocket. I'm demon time mode.
Yeah.
But he has suspenders. Hollow time mode. He has suspenders on. You know, with the little like chingas, like.
Mehgan, you are starting a lot of sentences today.
You know, like the suspenders that has like the cheetah print. You know, the cheetah print guy.
Oh, yeah.
Cheetah print guy with the slick back hair.
Yeah.
His outfit just kind of reminded me of that. And, you know, the domain expansion, you know, Bankai. I mean, it's just, it reminds, you know, cursed weapons, like Zanpakuto, you know.
Yeah.
It does very, very remind me of JJK. Again, I haven't read all of JJK. I've only seen most of season 1 in the movie, but I don't want to compare it because, you know, they're too different, but you can clearly see, like,
you can see the inspiration.
And it's not like, oh, I hate that you can see the inspiration. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool that they took inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, it's that type of inspiration.
Yeah. Ishida's dad tells him he can get his powers back, but there is going to be a catch, and that catch is that he cannot mess with the Soul Reapers anymore.
I mean, okay.
Can't mingle with them anymore.
Okay. I mean, I understand that the crazy ass doctor was the reason why, you know, your dad is dead. But
yeah.
At the same time, like, where have you fucking been? Mm-hmm. And where were you for Ishida growing up? You were a bitch to Ishida growing up.
I mean, he was, and he was a bitch to him when he came back.
Yeah,
he said, I was very careful with my words. I told you didn't have the talent for it. And I told you I was uninterested. But even though I'm uninterested doesn't mean it was still not thrust upon me.
He's bitter. He's bitter. And I'm like, if you just kill your dad, wouldn't you be next in line?
Yeah, true. But his dad is clearly a lot stronger than he is.
I guess. But now that he has his power.
Yeah, he can work on it.
That'd be crazy.
If he had to kill his dad, that'd be sick. Yeah. Anyway, this is when we cut back and we get another dad reveal.
Oh.
Kon is getting attacked by the Grand Fisher and gets saved by none other than Isshin Kurosaki, a.k.a. Ichigo's dad, Zaddy.
I was shook. I was like, oh!
They talk about that charm, too. Like you said, that charm being specifically made for Kon is a line that he drops. This was specifically made to kind of protect you when you're in Ichigo's body. I've known. He even calls him Kon. He calls him that.
I was shook about that too.
Yeah.
I was like, how did he even know his name?
Yeah.
And like, And then he obviously felt the presence of Rukia while she was there.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Like he's been knowing what's going on this whole time, especially with like his own kids too. I mean, he knows that they all kind of have that spiritual stuff. But I mean, he's known this whole time, which I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and it is going to be something. I mean, it has to be something that is revealed to everybody else, and that is something to look forward to as well. But we don't get to see that in this part.
I fucking called it. I was like, is this going to be a type of situation where like he tells Kon not to tell anyone and it's a secret for a really long time and Ichigo never knows for a really long time? And she's like, I don't know, keep reading. And then immediately he was like, shh, don't tell anyone.
Yeah. But this is where he has a cool moment and they have a cool kind of back and forth about Zanpakuto's, and he's like, just because yours is big doesn't mean that mine can't, have the power. If all Soul Reapers, we are trained to sort of condense all of our spirit energy down because we don't want to be swinging swords around the sides of buildings. It was a cool kind of back and forth that he had with the Grand Fisher.
Never judge a Soul Reaper's power based on the size of his Zanpakuto.
I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt.
Bold letters.
Yeah, bold, big. I'm gonna get that tatted. I'm gonna get that tatted.
That whole quote.
Right below.
Oh my. What?
I'm just gonna get it tatted somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna get tatted. And you don't need to know where it's at.
Okay, it's fine.
But it's just a great line. I think it's a great line. It's a powerful line.
It's very universal.
And that's the thing I love about Kubo's writing is he speaks. Oftentimes it feels like he's speaking directly to
the reader.
To me.
Yeah. Oh, to you. Oh.
A reader, the readers, and I'm sure other readers too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking directly to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because my Zanpakuto.
Like speaking directly to
my Zanpakuto, it also, on the inside is the size of a building.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the inside?
Yeah, like
what do you mean on the inside?
Like it's power,
Oh, on the inside, but...
Right. Anyway, so not to linger here for too long, we're just going to move right along. This was so cool. Like you said, I love this reveal too. And even this like mystery. And like I said, it's more of a mystery in their relationship. Like what is their relationship? But Urahara shows up and it's very clear that they are aware of each other, that they know about each other, that Urahara is very aware that Ichigo's dad hasn't even been a Soul Reaper for the past 20 years. So they have that kind of talk and they kind of leave their discussion there. They talk about the Arrancars a little bit. And he kind of talks about Ichigo. Urahara says like, he's a lot like you. And he's like, don't say that. But we really don't get any information on their past, their history. But we know just from their interaction that there is a lot of history.
Yeah, because they're very on like friendly terms and they're able to like, poke jokes and stuff, which Urahara is not like, I mean, he's friendly, but he chooses when to be friendly and like when not to be. Because even like, we see later like Renji's like outside of his shop and he's like, I'm not letting his fucking guy in.
Yeah, well, he's also kind of lazy in a way, I guess. He's also kind of like
he's lazy justice.
Yeah, he's lazy justice. He's like, I left Soul Society.
Yeah, he doesn't want to
have to deal with this shit. Exactly.
And he also knows that Renji's like, hey, about that thing about Rukia, he just doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to deal with it. And Renji's a guy who just like, he's just not going to stop.
He won't stop.
Okay.
Keep going.
Bleach really does something to you, man. Like it really does.
It's Kubo, I'm telling you. Like I mean, it is just like insane the amount of handsome characters that are in this story. It's just it's too much to bear. It's too much to bear. And comment below if you agree with me, because it's not just, the male characters, it's also the female characters. Like they're all like amazing and beautiful. Like he just can make beautiful people.
Yeah, he does. He makes beautiful people.
Gosh.
We know this, but Aizen is using the Hogyoku. Everyone, that's going to mean that everybody's going to need to mobilize. The Soul Reapers, the Vizards, everybody is going to have to mobilize to be able to deal with this enemy.
Freaking endgame.
It kind of is. Shinji's back at school telling Ichigo that the hollow inside of him is going to consume him and that's going to take out. All of his friends are going to be in danger. Chad, Ishida, Orihime, all these people. He only has them temporarily because he will be consumed and will either harm them or something will happen and
or just die
or
and
die,
not become himself anymore. In sense, loses him.
Yeah. This is when another awesome character shows up. A character by the name of Hiyori.
I was like,
she's the best.
I love her. I
also wanted to say too, and I now that you've read it, I didn't ask you, but just the Vizard in general, and even characters like Hiyori and just the whole Vizard crew, it does give me more of this like Burn the Witch sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Than obviously Soul Society.
Yeah,
did.
totally. Again, because they just are so like all unique
Mm-hmm.
and cool looking, and their personalities really shine through super easily. Like you get a real grasp of who these Vizards are based off of like how they communicate and like what everyone's position is in the squad. And just little things here and there, we get explained that one of them didn't have to go through any time period to be able to get
like
out of
master not to get out, but to master the holification or to be able to harness the power of the hollow mask. They were able to do it for like, I wrote that down, over 15 hours right away. And we don't get to know more of that. But
I know, and it's like, again, just like a character that we get introduced to, and it's just like kind of like, oh yeah, that was a thing that happened, and I'm excited to see where it go. She fits in all this. But again, I was having so much fun seeing all of these characters, like Hiyori, like they're kind of back and forth, the small like emotional moments of her just like kind of like, I hate humans, I hate Soul Reapers, and it's like, where do they fit? Where do they lie? I really liked it.
Me too. And just to power through some of this stuff because we already kind of covered it. Ishida agrees to his father's terms. Ichigo does what Ichigo does best, feels guilty. Kon keeps that secret from him. And then we do get an interesting moment where Karin confronts Ichigo about being a Soul Reaper.
I was shook about that too. I was like, how do you know that term?
Exactly.
How do you know that freaking term?
Yeah. But that interaction doesn't even get to play out because some of the Arrancar start to show up, and I don't remember how this. I think this is when I had already kind of switched to the manga at this time, so I don't really remember how to pronounce this character's name. But Ulquiorra, does that sound right to you?
Let me see.
Ulquiorra and Yami.
Yeah, that sounds about right because he still only speaks Spanish, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like esto es basura.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe you're on a Arrancar.
Yeah.
Well, you did say it at the beginning of the episode. You did say you were a Gillian.
Gillian, yeah.
Yeah.
Gillian's Island.
Gillian's Island. Gillian's Island. They show up again. I remember loving Ulquiorra's design from the moment I saw him as well.
Yami's sick too.
Yami's sick too, but Yami looks like some other Soul Reapers that we've seen in
I guess
Soul
so.
Society. Yeah. Like he looks like one of the guards of the gate.
Oh,
and his brother, like they all kind of look alike, but Ulquiorra looked a lot more unique to me and like kind of fucking crazy.
Ulquiorra was the big one.
No, Ulquiorra was the skinnier one.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yami is the big one.
Yeah, Yami's the big one.
Yami's the one who's like, basura.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's cool.
His design, I mean, again, this is when we're starting to see these like hollow masks play a part in their character designs, and he just looks some kind of emo about him, there's something kind of tortured about him.
He's detached.
Like he looks like he would definitely work at a Hot Topic or something like that, or he would maybe listen to some MCR, or he'd be like, but he'd be kind of distant.
Yeah, he would. I don't even think he'd be working at Hot Topic. He'd be working at the Hot Topic warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to his headphones. Yeah, he wouldn't want to deal with no cashier shit.
Right, You're right. When you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So they show up and Yami just starts sucking, dude. He just starts sucking. He starts sucking the souls out. I'm going over the list of things that we're supposed to be talking about.
That was insane.
Sorry. Okay, what do you want me to say then?
I don't know what these Bleach episodes bring out in you, but
in you, dude. And how many times are you gonna fucking, I'm just trying to talk about, my Zanpakuto, and I don't know how many times you're gonna fucking make me feel like a fucking chump, like a bozo over here, a bozo with a small Zanpakuto. Okay, I don't know how many times you're gonna make that joke.
I did. You're the one who brought that up.
I don't know how many times you're gonna do it, and and you can't even talk.
Bankai? More like bitch bye.
I mean, you don't want to talk because you're over here fucking foaming at the mouth.
Okay.
In the previous episode, over the captains, now over the dads. It's like, what do these episodes do to me? What do these episodes do to you? And you're saying, oh, it's what Kuma does to me.
You make like crazy jokes. You're talking about like holes. You're talking about like sucking the souls. Like,
what did he do then? What did he do then? He was sucking the souls out of people. He had them fucking. They were all. I imagine
they were like. Not like the nasty little.
I imagine, they're out. Everybody was in the world, minding their own business, and all of a sudden, and he was like, and then their souls get sucked. They get sucked out. But I guess, you think it's more like wind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if the souls would have a juicy texture to them.
All that soul energy, that's freaking viscous, dude. Soul energy is viscous. That's why, when you see a ghost, they mean like ectoplasm or like slime or some shit somewhere, because soul pressure is viscous.
Okay.
Who's the bleach expert here?
You are the bleach expert.
Anyway, he breathes in the souls out of everybody, except Tatsuki. Tatsuki's able to survive this. Tatsuki and a lot of the friends play a big part throughout this. Again, it's nice to see them return. Yeah. And it's nice to see that it's not just Tatsuki, that it's some other people that are starting to be able to see things.
Which is I was kind of surprised at that development. Mm-hmm. I was kind of surprised. I mean, it makes sense because they'd have to have more for, them to go after and to hunt down at the time. But yeah, it was, I like that development a lot with that character. And I did like the fact that they were kind of making the distinction of okay, no one else is really worth killing. Uh-huh. It is just Ichigo,
right?
That we're looking for, and then it turns into everyone.
Yeah. Well, that's just Grimjaw on his own accord. This is where we see Chad kind of show up, and he fucking gets mangled, dude. Chad gets mangled.
You know who else gets mangled?
Orihime.
Orihime gets.
Yeah, she gets I
had to do a double take.
I was appalled, dude. I kind of leaned back. I kind of jerked back when I saw her in one of the panels. Half her whole face is gone.
Half her whole face. I'm sure her freaking hair was gone too. I mean, it was bad. She got thrown on cement and she just slid across. It looked rough.
Yeah,
that was intense.
Yeah, they both probably got the most injured they've ever been. And then they see her in the hospital all bandaged up after, and she's just
I'm fine. And I'm like,
she's so sweet.
Orihime, you're not fine.
She's
and
so sweet.
That's where we kind of get that he says her power isn't quite healing.
Yeah,
it's time and space regression.
Yeah, time space regression.
And I was like, okay, that's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sick. Really sick. And yeah, I mean,
she tries to step up to the plate. She tries to do more than just heal.
Yeah.
She gets a little out of pocket, and she tries to do too much. She tries to do too much.
She does.
And she only has really one offensive ability that is given her by Tsubaki, and she tries to unleash it, and Tsubaki gets crushed to dust. And that's when Ichigo shows up. He uses his bankai. He cuts an arm off of Yami, which is,
the first arm of the arc.
First arm of the arc.
There's more to come.
More to come for sure. And more in the future.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
And now that he's in this bankai, now that he's in his bankai mode, and he's using more of his power, he's drawing more of the power, I guess, from, at this point, Zangetsu / the Hollow, which we find more out about what's going on with that later. But he's starting to kind of be overcome by that Hollow, and that darkness, and he's starting to the inner Hollow, and it's starting to really scare him. And
really scare him to the point where he is stopping himself from fighting because he doesn't want it to take over.
And we all have an inner Hollow.
We all have an inner Hollow. Mine comes out when I don't get my breakfast.
Okay, I kind of liked it.
When I don't get my morning coffee.
Yeah, when I don't get my morning sangria over here.
Okay, I'm not. I'm not. I don't have a problem.
How many did you have this morning?
It's really not important. How many freaking Santerias did your freaking grandparents
perform?
Perform, yeah. How about I ask you that?
Kind of a lot. I mean, at least I think my grandpa did for sure. He was performing all kinds of crazy rituals and shit. But I think it's kind of awesome. I think it's really cool, actually.
Because you have actual magic.
Yeah, and you have drinking
lineage.
in the morning. I'm just kidding. Mehgan doesn't.
It's viscous.
Mehgan doesn't drink sangria in the morning. Okay.
I drink it at noon. I wait till noon and then I start drinking all day. Just kidding. I'm joking. But
Ichigo's really struggling right now, and this is when Yoruchi and Urahara show up and fuck shit up.
Literally fuck shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally fuck shit up so bad that they're like, retreat. We're not gonna do this. I'm gonna tell freaking Aizen that he's not even worth killing. He's not even worth killing.
He ain't even worth it.
We fucking worth it. Let's just keep going with that plan and
What
don't come
were we
back.
watching recently? We were watching something recently when someone like an enemy got defeated. Oh, it was an Obi-Wan. Never mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, you'll need for
because like they cut back to like Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting, and Anakin just fucking beats the shit out of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan's on the floor, no lightsaber on the floor, and he's like, your need for victory blinds you, Anakin. And it's like, yeah, that's what you say when you fucking lose a fight. Yeah, you get fucking wrecked, you get blood coming out, you're like, your need for victory blinds you. And I'm like,
your need for victory blinds you. And then you're like,
yeah, and then you're like, trying to crawl away.
yeah. And they're like, okay. And they're like, I have the higher ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was totally this instance. They're like, let's just tell him it's not even worth it, which he kind of gets, he kind of gets told off when he goes back, because even if he wasn't worth killing, it's like,
well, he doesn't get told off by anybody important. He gets told off by fucking Grimjaw, who can't fucking keep it in his pants.
No, Grimjaw likes chaos. He likes violence. He likes killing. But I mean, he has a point. I mean, imagine if he just killed Ichigo, like,
yeah,
it would have been.
But they talk about this like potential that they're waiting to see. Maybe they can use it to their advantage. Maybe they'll learn something. Who knows? This is a highlight I know for Mehgan. The Soul Society gang, Renji, Ikaku, Rangeku, Matsumoto, Yumi Chika, and Toshiro show up with Rukia. Yeah, I wrote Rangeku, Matsumoto. I don't know why it's hard for me to say Rangeku, so I just say Matsumoto, Toshiro show up, and they bring someone with them. It ain't just them. They bring Rukia along with them.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, yes. I mean, it was cool. I mean, to see Rukia again, but to see them, like, in school uniforms, being on Earth, just being like, we're here to help you out. It was just so cute. I loved it. Yeah,
it was a highlight for me too. And I actually liked seeing Rukia again more this time than I did in Soul Society.
Oh yeah.
When Ichigo, like when she's just standing, she's like silhouetted in the window and she's just standing there. I was like, yes. Rukia's back. Mm-hmm. And I felt more excited than I did, because Ichigo kind of ran into her, I think, twice in Soul Society.
Yeah.
And I felt more here than I did both of those other times.
Mm-hmm.
But Rukia shows up to do what she does best, and that's talk some sense into Ichigo. And she drags him to go fight this hollow and she just yells at the man.
Yeah, she does. And she's just like, you can be a bitch, Ichigo?
Yeah.
You're going to be a bitch forever?
It's like, your name Bitchigo?
Yeah. Your name Bitchigo? Because that's what you're looking like right now, bitch.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm trying. And she's like, well, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, Ichigo's not a fucking bitch. The Ichigo I know is not a fucking bitch. He says that. And then he's like,
stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself. What, you can't fight back? What, you're weak? Are you weak? Huh, baby? Huh?
Yeah.
And she's just like pressing him. And I mean, he needs that. He
needs
that.
Well, he, in all jokes aside, he does need Rukia. That's what's so good about their dynamic.
Yeah.
Is that she does whip him into shape. Like, she doesn't let him kind of sulk around and kind of like drag his feet. She's like, okay, after everything you've been through, after everything we've been through, after everything you've done, let's fucking pick it up a little bit and let's fucking get to work.
And even she is like, we see people kind of not confused, but we see Ichigo kind of struggling with the hollow stuff, and she kind of like immediately realizes it, and she's just like, what? Are you scared of the hollow inside you? And he's just like, and then she has like whole great speech about like how you have to like become stronger than it, and you can defeat it, and you can be better. And I was like, oh, this is really great. This is really good.
Yeah, I love their dynamic, and I love seeing them together again. This is when we get a little bit more. Oh, and she kind of drags him, back to Orihime and like makes him apologize to her.
Oof.
And
Orihime's like, this is fine. I'm so
she's like,
happy.
I'm okay.
I'm like so happy Rukia's back. Huh?
Yeah.
She's like the best.
Yeah.
And she's just like so, she is so pure.
Yeah.
She's just like, I don't want to feel this way, like, but I kind of do feel this way about their relationship. But like, why? Because Rukia is such a good person, and she's putting everyone else above herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she got to fight for what she wants. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah. This is where we get to see more of the Soul Society gang at school. A highlight for me, again, just seeing them, like you said, in school uniforms, just being silly. Them reacting to everybody reacting to them. Then Rukia goes back to Ichigo's house, and, the family's like spying on him through the door with cups to the door to eavesdrop. And I realized that, I did miss a lot of the dynamics that we got in the world of the living, like the dynamic with Ichigo's dad and his sisters and his classmates. Like I missed a lot of the personalities that, absence makes the heart grow stronger. So maybe since we didn't get to see them for so long, seeing them again, like back up to their usual hijinks, it's just like nice to see. But then the rest of the Soul Society gang, they show up and in Ichigo's room, and they explain kind of everything to him. Mm-hmm. They explain that the Arrancars are hollows that have had their masks removed, and they're trying to tap into some of that Soul Reaper kind of power. And there are different classes of these Menos. There's the Gillians, which are just the foot soldiers, which are what we saw them kind of fight earlier on. There are the and again, excuse my pronunciation, the Ajuchas. Yeah, and then there's the Vasto Lords, and they are more powerful than captains, and they don't even know how powerful they are fully awakened. Mm-hmm. So they're a little concerned.
And they're just kind of saying like, if Aizen has more than 10, we're done.
We're fucked.
And then the next panel is Aizen being like, go say hello to your 20 brothers and sisters. I was like, oh, they're done.
Yeah, they're fucked.
They're done.
They're done. It's gonna be a short. It's gonna be a short series.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get wiped out.
It's a short series. It's gonna be a short one.
It's gonna be a short one. Ulquiorra, that's when he reports to Aizen with his eye, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. And Grimjaw's is being Grimjaw, questioning his actions and everything, which we already kind of talked about.
It was very reminiscent of like I forget which character in like Greek mythology. I think like the 3 witches or something. It's in Hercules actually too, where they like take out their eye. They're like all seeing eye. Maybe that's related, but because he's like a god, he wants to be like God.
I don't remember that. I'm not. The Hercules film isn't fresh in my mind right now.
It's always fresh in mind. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll bet there's some characters in there that you really like seeing on screen.
Who?
Hercules.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say something different.
Hades too. Yeah. Yeah. And look how you're fucking blushing, dude. Of course you would love Hades, you freak. Of course. Lil Mehgan, everybody else is fucking, oh my God, Hercules. And then you're like, but what about Hades though? And you're just fucking sweating. And you fucking have acne and shit. Because you're like, I had a lot of acne. I assume you had a lot of acne, You did it? Oh, I self-reported myself.
What about Hades though, guys? Right?
What about Hades fucking dripping sweat,
Bullets.
Yeah.
Horses. Worse than horses.
Yeah, your fucking, pits are stained.
What about Hades?
What about Hades? You can't even fucking walk. You're like fucking looking limping. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, you're right. Another awesome moment. What I love about this dynamic is the gang all has to find a place to stay. Such a small thing, but I really like that.
And, Matsumoto's like, I'm going to stay with Orihime. There's no way she's going to turn me down because she can't stay. She can't stay at Ichigo's, even though she, like, tries to, like, I don't know, like, persuade him by, like, taking off her top or something.
Yeah, or just, yeah.
Or undressing. And everyone is kind of like, yeah, we didn't expect to stay with you, so we're just going to kind of...
But I love the pairings. The pairings are so sick. Like, I love Matsumoto with Orihime.
They're so cute. They're so cute.
Like refusing to go anywhere and just like being on the roof, and then Ikaku and the pretty boy guy end up going to, I forget this character's name too, but you know, back to his place, and the relationship that Ikaku has with the sister is so funny. And something I don't remember happening, but I loved it. I loved it. Yeah, and that guy from school, again, I forget his name. He can see hollows now too.
He was like watching him fly in the air, and he's like, "What was there?"
Yeah, Ichigo and Rukia are back at his place, and Rukia is assuming that she's gonna stay with Ichigo, and this is funny too. This is the moment of her like fake crying in front of the family to stay there, and they're like, "Yeah, of course," but she's not in the closet now. She's in the sister's room,
and she's kind of pissed.
About it. Yeah.
He's like, "I thought I was gonna be in the closet again. That was like my little space." And he's like, "Okay, well, everyone knows you're here. You're not gonna be sleeping in my room, you know."
Highlight moment for me is when Orihime talks to Matsumoto about being jealous.
I agree. That was definitely the highlight. One of the highlights for me. Like major. It was such a great moment because Orihime was like actually for the first time like being like, confronting her feelings, which Matsumoto says like, you're not a bad person. Like a bad person would give in. Like
that line was so powerful.
Yeah, you're like, feeding. You're facing your problems and like your insecurities up front. And that's what makes
she's
you
like
a good
other people
person.
would be passive aggressive about it. Other people would push it down. Other people wouldn't face it, but you're dealing with it, and that is what makes you a good person. And I was like, God damn, like that's some really solid like friend advice. Yeah,
and she's like, she's saying all this while she's naked on top of Orihime, but I kind of chose to just like, read the words and be like, wow, like that was really impactful.
It was a powerful scene. It was really
powerful scene, powerful character.
Yeah.
And I would agree with highlight.
And not for that.
Not for that reason.
That
was
just like a little cherry.
Yeah, that was
just a little bit of a cherry on top of an already cool moment. Moving on. Oh, but I before I move on, I do want to say that even the way that Kubo paneled this and the way he drew this, like just the nervousness that Orihime was feeling, and her kind of like, her feet kind of just that awkwardness. She was kind of curling her toes, and she was just very timid about it because she's very conflicted. She loves Rukia. She wants Ichigo to be happy. She's not used to having these feelings, and I don't know. She felt really human in that moment, and I really liked the way that Kubo decided to panel that. It was really cool, and that's coming from somebody who's not a foot guy.
That's right.
Usually, I'm very disgusted by the human foot, but I thought this served its purpose.
A good depiction of the human foot.
Well, I mean, it served its purpose. It did what it needed to do. This is when Grimjaw shows up, and he shows up with 5 Arrancar to erase anyone with spiritual energy, which we kind of already talked about.
Purge.
This is where we get to see D-Roy versus Rukia, and we get to see Rukia in action, I think, in like her true form in the first time ever. Because even when Ichigo first met her, she wasn't wielding this fucking white Zanpakuto.
No, that was super sick, super sick. And he kind of has like this like one up, like, oh well, you do that and I can use the sky. The sky is my terrain. And she's like, well, actually my Bankai literally, no, it's not her Bankai, is it? She has Bankai, right?
This wasn't her Bankai. This is just her Zanpakuto ability, the sleeve of white snow. She said everything in its domain.
Everything in its domain. In the circle. That was sick.
That's everything from the ground all the way up to the sky.
And it was funny to see her, her explanation about what happened to her Gigai and how she's able to like switch it out with the one that she wanted originally, with the hop character, the hop cute one, the bunny, and the hop just like giving like dialogue like, wow, her Zanpakuto is the most beautiful Zanpakuto in all of Soul Society.
And
hop.
How Byakuya,
okay.
Oh yeah, he's like, I don't think exposition's for you.
And she's like, hop.
And how Byakuya took her off of like the captain's chair because she'd be in less danger. But she is like capable and has the power to be one. All awesome to see.
They're
Rukia.
moving up. I mean, all of them are moving up.
Yeah.
After what happened in Soul Society, it's like just like the next step for all of them.
Yeah,
which is
and
cool.
I always love seeing Rukia just be a badass because we didn't get to see it for so long.
I know. I mean, for so long. I mean, really, only a little bit because she had limited, power and abilities the whole time we've seen her, just because of her Gigai and also being trapped in Soul Society. So it was cool to see her finally, like, be able to step up and fight back like she can. You know?
This is another highlight moment for me, and just because of what we have left to cover, I'm just going to kind of breeze through it, but it doesn't mean that I didn't fucking love this. We're going to get into a lot of fighting sort of now, and usually fights, we just talk about the moments, the character moments within the fight. But I remember loving Ikkaku so fucking much, and upon rereading Soul Society, I remembered why I liked him, but I was like, I like him more for some reason, and I can't remember why. And this is fucking why, dude. Ikkaku's moment, the bald guy.
Yeah. I was like, just make sure. Yeah, awesome.
His moment with this Arrancar was so awesome. And in terms of like all the fights that everybody kind of had with their own Arrancar, they all had their own Arrancar to deal with. Like his was definitely given the most time. But I absolutely loved this moment.
Yeah, we get a great moment with him. We get to see his Dragon Crest Demon Light. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that was freaking sick. And then we get a freaking Kenny flashback.
Yeah. Well, because he's a vice captain, right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't want people to know that he has achieved Bankai. Because when people start to hear that or find that out, they're going to ask him to become a captain because they have seats to fill since Tosin and Aizen and Gin are all gone.
It's like you never want to be too good at your job, because once you become really good at your job, they're going to ask you to stay longer. They're going to ask for you to fill in. It's exactly what it is like. So you kind of just like play like, I don't know how to do that.
Yes.
So then you get like, your weekends off.
Exactly. That is just like the senior thing. That's perfect. Perfect comparison. But he's so fucking sick, and his Bankai's so cool. He's like Kenpachi in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That he just loves, like fighting is a sport to him. And we find out here that how the Arrancars release their Zanpakuto is by their Zanpakuto, or that energy is kind of sealed within them. So when they release it, it changes their form.
Their
which
true
was
form.
Really cool to see. Just something different. But I love this whole fight. I think it was awesome. And just made me love him so much more. He is a madman, and he doesn't want to become a captain because he wants to serve under Kenpachi forever. Because he has a lot of respect for him because of what we learned in that flashback when Kenpachi defeated him and told him that surviving made him lucky. And if he really loves fighting, you want to be killed because of honor and all these things because technically you lost. But if you really love fighting, then consider yourself lucky because you get to live to fight again, to fight more.
To fight me.
Yeah, to fight me. And this wasn't the last Kenpachi moment we got.
I was very shocked at, what role does he play? I mean, out of all of everyone, I was like, okay, Kenpachi's getting a lot of showtime.
Yeah.
Kenpachi's getting a lot of shine in this arc.
Because the Kubo doesn't want you to forget about Kenpachi. Everybody's kind of dealing with their own Arrancar.
How could I?
Okay. Everybody's kind of dealing with their own Arrancar. Hitsugaya is dealing with one, Matsumoto and Renji. They're all dealing with their own. But something interesting that happens, I think it was during the fight with Renji and his Arrancar. Is Uryu and
Massacre mode.
Yeah.
Like what?
The girl Urahara's it's like
so is she a gay guy? Like is she?
You know what? I kind of forget what her whole deal is, but we know that now that there's something up.
Yeah, I don't think she even has a real body.
She almost seems like she went into some sort of like she was like
fight or flight.
Awoken. Like her real self was like awoken, and she went into just like berserker mode.
She went into berserker mode. We saw that kind of when they were training with Ichigo, though, right? Because she was capable about fighting. But to see that come back, like that was also another highlight for me. Like that was super super sick. To her to like even start to put up a little bit of a fight against this guy was like really cool.
Yeah, I want to remember what that is all about because I forget.
I mean, I don't know if they've explained it yet. I think this is like one of the first times that we've seen
her go this crazy.
Yeah, seen her this crazy.
The Arrancar then explained sort of the ranking system that they're numbered in order of their birth except for the top 10. The 10 are ranked by power, and they are known as the Espadas, of which Grimjaw is number 6 of the Espadas, and he's
and we kind of see them a little bit at the end, which I was like, the council.
Yeah.
So they're council members.
It's another council, and I'm a sucker for councils.
You are a sucker for councils.
Everybody's getting their fucking asses whooped. Everybody's getting wrecked until in Bleach fashion, Gentai Kaijo. Yeah.
And they're like, whoa. and they're like, our powers are now quintuplified.
Yeah. It played as a very epic moment and it's a very hype moment. But it is, of course, like, because everybody looks like they're just getting fucking wrecked and everybody looks like they're having such a hard time to keep up. But you find out again that they had this restriction put on them.
You find out again they have this restriction put on them. 1, they had to call it. 2nd, and 3rd, these were just fucking Gillians.
Well, that's what we learned later, yeah. But I think
that's why I was like, it served that purpose for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, we're going to get out of this mess.
Because, yeah, you know, I think what's an important takeaway for me in all of this is that maybe they all of the ones that came did vary in power, but Ikkaku was able to defeat his before their restrictions were released. He was able to do what needed to be done
because
before.
he could do Bankai, right? I think he's the only one out of all.
No, they're all captains, and Hitsugaya was using his Bankai. That's what the Arrancar saw when he saw the petals.
You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know what
and
I'm talking
Renji
about.
was like mid Bankai with his huge.
He
fucking,
was mid. Yeah, you're right.
Zabimaru.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was the only one able to do it. And again, their power levels could vary, but he was the only one that was able to do it. And it makes sense. He's Kenpachi's, second seat. He's right there. So it would make sense that he'd be able to defeat them before the release. And what a cool thing to just be able to say. Like, yeah, all you guys had to do, you guys had to use your full power, but I did it on like a quarter of my power.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love Ikkaku, man. He's a sleeper goat, dude. Yeah, it was a hype moment. It was a very Bleach moment, and I mean that as a compliment. I think only Bleach can do those really, really cool things. So yeah, then once they do that, the tables turn and everybody's easily able to defeat their enemies. But again, they had to have full access to all of their power to be able to do that.
And this is when Grimjaw's kind of talking to both Rukia and Ichigo, and he's pretty much like, who is the stronger out of both of you?
Yeah.
And then he's like, obviously not you, and he like wrecks Rukia right there and then. Of course, Rukia's always getting
fucked up, dude.
And I want to see her really I want to see her Ichigo moment. I feel like I haven't seen her Ichigo moment. Like I want her to shine. Like I want her to be on that level because like she is strong, she is capable. Like why does she keep getting like messed up like this all the time?
Yeah.
Whatever. But we do see that moment with him and Ichigo, and they have a little moment.
They have a little moment, and Ichigo releases his Bankai and his Getsuga Tensho, which I guess is a move that he does draw from Zangetsu. Again, we're going to get into what exactly is going on with the Hollow and Zangetsu and everything inside of him, the source of his Zanpakuto's power. But using this ability is what starts to bring that Hollow out again. And right as things are about to get crazy, Tosin shows up, and Tosin has a little bit of he got a little bit of a wardrobe change.
Yeah, he did.
And Tosin looks sicker than he did before. But Tosin shows up to return Grimjaw because we find out that Grimjaw just fucking went.
Yeah,
he took
which
5.
was hilarious. You're like, you need to come back because this whole time we thought it was like ordered by Aizen. You like had the impression that this was like meant to happen
to test everybody's power.
Yeah, no, he was like, he didn't do it. Let's go.
And
roll out. Come on.
And Tosin was like, everybody that you brought with you is fucking dead. Everybody that you brought with you is fucking dead.
There's gonna be
except for
consequences.
You. Yeah. Ichigo again feeling really bad, feeling really guilty.
Yeah, Chad's like, no. Rengoku. Renji.
Rengoku.
Jesus. Renji's like, you won. He's like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, nah, man. I wasn't able to save anybody, dude. You'd be feeling the same way. And Renji's like,
Ichigo. Not again.
Ichigo, man.
Not again.
Well, Renji's the same way. Renji is the same way. Like, if that happened,
that's true.
Renji and Ichigo brute the same amount.
Yeah.
Like, they constantly brute about not being strong enough. They are so alike, which is just funny to think about, like, how things kind of happen later on. Moving on. Ikkaku and the pretty boy, that's when they move into the guy's house and meet the sister, which was really cool. And we cut back to Hueco Mundo, where Tosin takes the arm off of Grimjaw for his disobedience. And we get more of Tosin's idea of justice. He's like, your violence served no purpose, and violence without purpose is injustice. But violence with purpose is fine, I guess, in with Tosin's idea of justice.
Yeah, Tosin's he's all mixed up.
He's all
mixed up.
Yeah, he's not seeing straight. I mean, you know what I mean. his morals.
Mhm.
You know, his morals is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Tosin is badass in this moment. Is badass because you see that he is a higher ranking sort of person, and not only does he chop Grimjaw's arm off, but he like casts this like spell on it that it incinerates it so it can't be reattached. So it seems like Grimjaw's arm is just fucking forever gone. Forever gone.
You would think that, wouldn't you?
You'd think that. You would think that. This is where we see Gin for the first time in a long time. And he's sort of just kind of, Aizen's on his throne. You know, Aizen thinks he's fucking Mr. Hotshot. I mean, he definitely is hot for sure. But you know, he's on his throne. He's kind of just, this is what he's wanted. You know, he's wanted just this power. And he's finally got it. And you could tell he's just soaking it all in, dude. He fucking loves it, dude. He fucking loves it a little too much. And we haven't seen Gin in a long time, or Jin in a long time, but he's kind of behind, you know, one of the corners. And he's accusing Aizen of like toying with everybody. He's like, you're just kind of messing with everybody. And you kind of knew all this was going to happen just by the way you're kind of pushing everybody's buttons. You're just fucking with everybody. And Aizen's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter though, because then that's when we find out that like, because he's like, aren't you upset that we lost like 5 powerful Arrancar? And he's like, I mean, those were Gillian, so I don't really fucking care.
I was like, oh shit.
And that was a kind of an oh shit moment.
And this is about the time that we get, you know, the you know, everything is brought to light by, I don't know his name, old guy, goatee.
Oh, yeah. I think it's, I could be wrong, but I think it's like Yamato or something. I forget. Yeah,
he like kind of tells them like what's going on, but like, don't worry about it till winter though. That's when it's going to happen. But we see, you know, pretty soon after that, that's not the case. And it's happening very soon.
And we learn a lot more about what's to come. But we cut back here to Uryu still training, Chad going to ask to be trained by Urahara, and Ichigo finally goes to the Vizards for help and asks them, doesn't ask to join them, but is really just going to try to fight them and study them and try to gain the knowledge that they have to control this thing.
This was another highlight for me with Hiyori and Ichigo. Ichigo, you know, they start fighting and she's like, well, you know, we get to choose if we want to tell you how to control this thing. Like, it's not the other way around. You don't just get to come in here and like, you know, what does he say? I'll get out of you by force.
Yeah.
And then he goes like full hollow, and that splash page, you know, he chokes the shit out of her.
Yeah.
But that splash page of everyone on his ass, like immediately, like there's no second thought, just like all of them, like immediately like pinning him down. I was like, that's the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's so cool. It's maybe the coolest panel in all of Bleach so far.
Because they were so fast. You didn't even get to see. You didn't even see them move. It was literally choke, boom.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And this also just goes to show you how afraid they are of maybe this Hollow's power when it's untamed.
But also they're strong enough to just like pin down a Hollow like that.
I mean, it was like 7 of them though, you know? Like it was like
that's true. But still, it was very awesome.
It was one of the hypest moments so far. I mean, I would get that as a print, as a poster, as a fucking
I love that. I love that.
That's when we cut to like Ichigo now kind of having like, after refusing to hollowfy, he's now like, okay, well, you can help me kind of like get this thing out, get control of it. So they put him on this like treadmill kind of like exercise machine kind of thing.
Ichigo is the most impatient little boy ever. And you know, he got not spoiled, but you know, he does have this like, you know, strong spiritual energy, so things just like come faster to him, but he expects things to be like immediately right there, right then. Like you need to just at least take a couple hours. Like, damn, like a day.
And everybody always just ends up giving in.
I know, because he's so annoying.
And he's so strong too. But yeah, he does. He's like, this sucks. When are we gonna start? When are we gonna start?
Can we start now?
And they're like, and Shinji's like, you know, you gotta it's part of the process, man. Like, you gotta just go through this. And he's like,
I don't like the process.
I achieved Bankai in like 3 days.
I don't like the process. Speed it up. Can we speed it up?
Yeah. So Shinji's just basically like, all right, here we go. And just does it.
I was like, damn, Ichigo.
But when he does do it, that's when we get the Ichigo versus Zangetsu, technically. Inside of Ichigo again. And what I love about this is like the way that Hachi and all these other Vizards, like Hachi has to put up these barriers and how they're all going to kind of go in intervals and they're all going to go in for 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. But we see that the hollow inside of Ichigo was, I guess, and again, this is where it gets foggy for me. So without spoiling, if there's any clarification or anything we kind of get wrong without spoiling things going forward, let us know in the comments. But it does just seem that Zangetsu, this hollow energy or hollow entity, was a part of Zangetsu.
Yeah, they've always been one.
Right.
But one was stronger than the other. One Zangetsu, kind of like he explained to Ichigo, I think that like once you show any sign of weakness, like I can just immediately, come in stronger.
And I think
take over.
He was also maybe a little like salty that like Zangetsu had sort of bowed to Ichigo or gave Ichigo the power, like let him use it.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I don't
he's like, I don't fucking do that shit. Like I don't give power to people who are weaker than me. Like you have to be strong. You have to make me submit to give me that power.
Again, it really reminds me of JJK, and I'm going to stop because, I enjoy that character way more than I do Utadori.
Yeah.
Was it Sukon? What is his name? Something with an S.
Oh, yeah. I forget.
Gosh, the demon or whatever, the curse. Sick. But anyway, this was awesome. I liked how, Ichigo was internally fighting with this thing, and on the outside, he's like going through it like hollow shit, like, fighting without even knowing that he's fighting these people. Like, that was pretty intense. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it really was. And we learn about like killer instinct and all these things that he apparently doesn't have. But what I like about this conversation too is his flashback to Kenpachi and just what Kenpachi basically tells him about killer instinct in this like dream sequence or this vision of Kenpachi that he has. Which we know it's a vision because it's not like he calls him Kenpachi and he's like, who? Like what? Like, but I think that is killer instinct. Like to Ichigo, when Ichigo thinks of killer instinct, it manifests itself as Kenpachi. Like,
his aura, people were like literally shivering. Like, people were going wild. Yeah.
And he basically says that whether you like it or not, he's like, you've always tried to avoid battle, yet you seek power. You cannot achieve power if not through battle. And if do you do it? Do you go to battle for power, or do you want power to win more battles? Like what do you want? And he kind of just like comes to terms with what his killer instinct is, through the help of Kenpachi, and is able to finally sort of reclaim the hollow or take control over the hollow inside of him. But the hollow inside of him says, the moment there's any sort of weakness in you at all, I'm coming for you. Which is not a comforting last word.
No. And Ichigo, like, it was so cool to see that in the manga, and then we watched a little bit of the anime because we had to fast forward to season 6 to get this part.
Oh, don't even get me started on the bounce filler arc.
Insane. I was like, what? Why would they do such a thing? Because I was like, okay, it's probably like season 3 or 4. Oh, okay, not 5. Oh, is it
the bounce arc in the anime lasted, in my memory, it lasted fucking years.
It's insane.
Years of filler, and it was like right after Soul Society too.
I know. Insane. But
that is why I switched to the manga around this time.
That makes sense.
Because it was just, and I think in my memory, like I was telling you, the Bount are just like vampires.
I'm kind of into that. But
it would have been maybe cool if like it was handled better. But again,
they're
working in the confines of like not being able to do anything too crazy, because when the manga comes back and they're animating the manga again, they can't have these crazy things happen to these characters because they have to deal with that going forward. So they're just kind of stuck in this like perpetual cycle of like nothing happening really, because it can't. And that's what I think made it so uninteresting and so boring. And that's just all filler, I think. Outside of like, some slice of life stuff would have been cool.
But I like the moment that I saw in the manga and anime when, he finally takes that like hollow shell off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is reborn, and then he falls, and then he's like, are you good? He's like, I'm good. And then he goes like, I won't let you, pretty much telling the hollow inside him, like, I won't let you take me.
And we find out that in terms of like the hollification process, the only reason I'm making a note of this is because I think it's going to be important. But the only other person that really underwent that process for that long was Hiyori. Hiyori was one of the only people that like was 69 minutes, hell yeah, and 2 seconds. This is when we come back to Hitsugaya in Orihime's house. He's put a screen up. He's talking to the captain, and the captain tells him, or the commander, I forget. I'm sorry. But the old guy with the beard, he's talking to him about the Oken and the Spirit King. Now, this is where things I think get a little interesting, and the world of Bleach is starting to really start to open up even more, because we find that Aizen was looking, they were kind of going through all the records of the things that Aizen seemed to have accessed, and one of them was the Oken. When we find out about the Oken, it is a key. So apparently there's Soul Society, and there is another dimension that this Spirit King and the royal family, there's this royal family who is so powerful and so, I guess, just godly, or just maybe just royal, and they're just like separate. That's why they're separate from everything. But their name being the Spirit King is in this other dimension, and this key unlocks that dimension and allows that person to travel there. Aizen doesn't know the location of it, but he did access files that let him now know how to make one. And how he makes one is sucking souls out of people. And he needs a Juriichi, which is a spiritually charged area, which happens to be Karakura village or city or whatever, the place that they all live. And this makes sense because so many spiritual things have just been happening. Spirit energy, Ichigo, all his friends. Like, it is now starting to make more sense that it's this area, because he says that these locations change over time. Over time, it's not always in one place. Yeah. But they have been living in a very spiritually charged area, which is probably another reason why they're all sort of starting to awaken to these things. But he also says that Aizen, like you said, is coming around December. He's like, Merry Christmas. Aizen's coming. And we need everybody's help. We need the Soul Reaper's help. We need even the humans' help. So you guys got to go get strong too. Then he lets Hitsugaya talk to Momo, who is not dead.
Bruh. I was
just
like, okay.
Let her die.
I know. And he's rapping with her, and she's still making excuses for this Aizen bitch. He probably was put in a position that he didn't want to be, blah blah. And then they just like take her out, and they're like, "Sorry about that. I guess it's just too soon for her." It's like,
she's still brainwashed,
totally brainwashed.
But
totally.
It's like, she could have just died.
I would have felt more impacted if she did.
Yeah.
I would have felt like, damn, like, wow, that was a crazy moment. But then to see her again just for this purpose, I was like, okay.
Yeah. That was one of my not favorite parts about this arc. I was like, I don't remember why, and if there's gonna be a lot of significance to her being alive, and I just really don't think that. Was it
just for that part? Is she gonna like turn on everyone again to go with Aizen? Like, I don't know.
We'll see. This is where we get a lot more Orihime stuff. Orihime is now in charge of like delivering this message to like Ichigo and Chad and everybody. So she just walks through this force field, one of Hachi's force field the Vizard have put up, and she just literally just like walks right through it without any issues, which Hachi is like blown away by, that anybody can A, see it, and B, walk through it. Break through it, let alone walk through it. But she just went there to talk to Ichigo and tell him everything. And Ichigo's like, okay, cool. All right, sick.
Thanks.
I'll get right to work then.
You can take off now.
All right, later,
Orihime.
Yeah, thank you so much, though.
Thank you. If you could, like, can you just, like, see yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, you got in. You
got it. Yeah, for sure.
Cool,
Thank you.
Cool. And then she ends up coming back later, but that's not till a little bit later.
Yeah, she comes pretty soon after when they tell her to go. But
Ishida, now we get to see Ishida getting his powers back, and I get why you say you didn't like this, but it's basically because he has exhausted all of his mind, body, soul. He has already exhausted all of his spirit energy. He's even like kept some of his spirit energy in these like little canisters that he can kind of throw as like this last ditch effort to kind of defeat his dad. And it's when he's ultimately defeated that he's able to regain his powers. His dad said he has to be completely exhausted of mind, body, spirit, energy, everything. He has to be emptied, and then he has to be struck with an arrow at just the right spot at just the right time to gain his powers back. And I get it. It's a little underwhelming, but at least he should have got his powers back now. So that's pretty cool.
And I told you he would.
Yeah, but there's still going to be some interesting developments. Okay.
Okay.
Just pay
Interesting.
attention to Ishida.
Okay.
Because there's some interesting stuff happening. Anyway, that's when Urahara tells Yoruchi is outside of the force field, and she tells Orihime that Urahara wants to talk to her. And so she's like, "Oh, sick, yeah, cool. I'll go see what's up.
I'll go right now.
I'll go right now."
Mm-hmm.
And this while this is all happening, like Aizen is watching the footage that Ulquiorra took, and is studying, like a villain. He's kind of studying Orihime. He's like, interesting
powers, girl.
Interesting powers, girl. And so she's like, cut back to Orihime, and she's like, "Oh, sick, yeah, I'll go. I mean, Chad's over there, maybe he can help me sort of figure out what my role in all this is. Awesome. I'll go see what's up right now."
Yeah, you're not fighting with us. No.
Yeah, Orihime, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Such a pleasure to have you. I've been around all
you.
these sweaty men all day. It's nice to see a pretty face. Yeah. Anyway, sit this one out.
Yeah, you're not gonna be coming with us.
Yeah.
Like in any capacity, at any time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Your powers are just not really built for battle.
No, you're not. Your powers aren't, and you're not.
And you're not. And honestly, even the one thing you can do, healing, there's a whole squad in Soul Society that we have healers.
We have two of the people coming. We have 2 people coming.
No, we have a whole squad.
Oh, a squad
led by these 2 people.
Led by the 2 people.
And they got combat training too.
Yeah, they have it all. You don't have much. You don't have much.
You just don't.
Yeah.
Just sit it out, and we'll handle things, and we'll meet up with you after this is all said and done.
Yeah, we'll bring you a souvenir.
Now, the interesting thing about it all is, again, it gets really foggy for me around this point. So if this turns out to be the case, then it's not me spoiling anything. It's just me making a guess that I would have made even if this was my first read, because sometimes it feels like it kind of is. But I'm really getting the sense, and I could be wrong, but I'm really getting the sense that Urahara is doing this to protect her, not to protect her, but to keep her away.
Oh yeah,
from Aizen, because
for sure, because Aizen's already kind of that's implied that he's kind of already gunning to kidnap her or use her as collateral for Ichigo or whatever, because Ichigo, he knows that he either wants Ichigo to be on his side or he wants to destroy Ichigo because of his potential. I don't know what he wants. Maybe to tamper with the hollow inside him so he can control the hollow version of him. That would make sense.
Yeah.
But because he's so, he would be super formidable. But he definitely wants to keep her away from, Aizen at all costs. So I think that's exactly why he's doing it. But also it makes sense because she's not the most trained.
Yeah.
So.
And we get to see Rukia kind of mirrored moment with Rukia here, where she was really helping out Ichigo, but now she's really helping out Orihime, and she's
pissed.
Yeah, she's like, "Fuck that!"
Fuck
what did he
them.
What
did he tell you? Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that, Orihime. And she's like, no.
We'll find a way. You came to Soul Society. You didn't hinder nobody.
Okay, you're Orihime. Okay.
Okay.
No. I'll be Orihime. You be Rukia. Okay.
No, you're a better Rukia.
Okay. What did he say to you?
He told me just to not fight, but that's fine.
It's not fine. It's not fine, Orihime. Fuck
no,
that.
He's
Fuck
right.
That, Orihime.
He's right.
Oh my god, you can't let them treat you like that.
I mean, I guess you're kind of right.
No, I'm exactly right. You need to. You're gonna fight, and you're gonna fight well. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
But what about my own path? I was trying to feed the dialogue. Yeah. What about my path?
Your path?
My path to fighting. My fatting path to fight path. What about it?
I'm sorry, I couldn't save it. That really threw me off. But
that's because Rukia says we're gonna find your own we're gonna find your way to be helpful. We're gonna find your,
And Rukia might have just fucked everything up by doing that. Rukia's gonna feel guilty, and then it's gonna be again the guilt train. It's coming down.
Yeah, but she tells Orihime that I'll find a way. Don't you worry. Hiyori comes to take Orihime, and she kind of has a little meeting with Hachi. I actually really like this moment a lot too, and I like this line that one of the other Vizards says is because they're looking kind of like at Ichigo fighting with Hiyori, and they're kind of looking at Hachi talking to Orihime, and there's just a buzz in the air, I guess. And one of the other Vizards says like everybody's just happy to meet other people with their abilities, and he kind of looks at, he's like even he basically says without saying it, but he's like even Hiyori, because she's like giving it her all with Ichigo. She's a tsundere, right?
Yeah.
So she's even really.
I mean,
liking...
Ichigo's a tsundere too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I love Hachi and Orihime's kind of moment. He's like, our powers are very similar.
Your hair clip is like kind of like a Zanpakuto. I was like,
oh yeah. Okay. And he's like, I can just fix this for you, but honestly, you could fix it. Like, you just maybe just don't know how, but you can. But he fixes it for her, and even he's like, yeah, but you still probably shouldn't be a part of the battle.
He's like, you probably shouldn't, and she's like, I'm going to. He's like,
all right. He's like, be whatever, be whoever you want to be.
Be whoever you want to be.
Just be your true self, girl. Go do you, girl.
Yeah. Go do you, girl.
That's what he says.
And he like combs his mustache.
Yeah, he's like,
go do you, girl.
And he's just like doing the 2-finger mustache thing. I want to see more of them together. I don't know if we will get that or not, but I like them. Like, he seems like a gentle giant.
He is a gentle giant.
Yeah. Speaking of arms getting cut off, then we get back to Yami's arm. But Yami's arm is fixed. It's stitched back on. Of course it is. Of course it is.
Literally, of course it is.
And Aizen, he's talking about the whole Gyoku, all right? He's talking about how it's at 50%, but he can have its full power released temporarily by someone who possesses twice the spiritual energy. Now, again, this means I think that part of that whole December thing is going to get a wrench thrown into it, because he's already able to get it to its full potential for short increments and short periods of time to be able to birth these new Arrancar, or even, I guess, more specifically,
the strongest one.
Espadas. Yeah. Espadas.
Sounds tasty. It sounds like an empanada or like
it does. And
like
speaking of Espadas, we do get to see a new comrade. Wonder Weiss Margera is
not
born,
to be confused with Bam Margera,
who is also a Espada.
He's on the run.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but people, people change.
Maybe he was talking about Aizen. Maybe that's where he went.
Maybe he just needs to be around. He needs to be around the gang again. He needs to be reunited with like his Rukia and maybe his Ichigo and like his, Renji and everything like that. And yeah. But I do think it's really interesting too. Again, that Kubo says that all of these Espada are, which again means sword, they are all named after these like architects, like you said, building the new world. Mehgan, I think, hit it on the head.
I think I did.
Yeah.
I think I did. I just pulled that out of the hole.
And you got it.
I got it.
You got it first try.
Hole in one.
Okay, it seems kind of weird after you just talked about your hole being something else. And you said hole in one.
It was another. Obviously, I'm joking.
I hope so. Anyway, we're at the very, very end here. Ulquiorra takes Grimjaw back to the world of the living, and Aizen says, "Remember those commands, that command I gave you? Remember that? Go do it. Basically, go do it."
And then Grimjaw's like,
No, Ulquiorra asks him. He doesn't. He looks like he doesn't want to go.
Oh, I thought he was the one who brought it up.
No, Grimjaw's sitting there pouting. Well, I guess he's like sitting there with one arm pouting.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Go take whoever you want. Take whoever you want. Bring him back." And Grimjaw's just sitting there like, "Argh." And Ulquiorra's like, "Grimjaw, do you want to go?" And he's like, "Ugh, I do, but fuck." Kind of like that.
I do, but fuck.
But like,
fuck.
Tosin,
Yeah.
Kind of like that. So he kind of, he wants to go, but he's still feeling like, he got disciplined, and he's feeling like he's being a brat right now. He's being a brat.
Yeah, I sense bratness. Bratness is gonna be full throttle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, it cuts back to everybody else training and getting ready to prepare for this upcoming battle. When the sky starts opening once again, they're coming, not just the Arrancar, but the Espadas, 2 of them, seemingly maybe more, are coming. We don't get to see how many are coming through or who exactly is coming through, but we do see that sky start to open, and we know that they're a-coming. And we have a feeling that they're coming after Orihime. Orihime, okay? And that's where this arc ends. That's where it ends.
Wow.
Some of the most fun I've had reading Bleach in a very, very long time.
I agree. It was everything that I liked, everything that I continue to like about Bleach, but just, super fun. All the character introductions were awesome. Designs, obviously, fights. It had a balance of everything about Bleach that I like.
Yeah.
I would say.
I 100% agree. It had everything. It was fun. And then it is kind of everything I was saying at the beginning about now I feel like we know these characters, we know their relationships with each other. We're introduced to so many more fun relationships, more dynamics, more character designs. But it's not overwhelming. It's not overwhelming. For whatever reason, it's not overwhelming. And it's not all about the battle, which the battle and the fights in Bleach are a big appeal when you talk about Bleach. That's a big part of the appeal. But what I love is getting to spend time with these characters, getting to see the Orihime deal with jealousy, getting to see Chad, struggling with never being, Ichigo never trusting him to have his back again. These reveals, these relationships, these histories that we're starting to get to see. Everything is expanding. Everything is unfolding. Everything is the stakes are rising. And I'm, like you said, I am rejuvenated and I am having so much more fun. And it might be a controversial opinion, but upon reread many years later, I enjoyed the Arrancar arrival arc, at least in its entirety as it starts, because I think the next arc is...
like 22 chapters?
It's 22 chapters, and it's also an Arrancar something arc.
Which is going to fly by. I mean, these chapters flew by. I can only imagine 22 chapters.
But my controversial statement is that I enjoyed this experience upon reread. I enjoyed it and had more fun with it than I did during Soul Society. Not to take away from Soul Society, because Soul Society, again, will always hold a special place in my heart and has its epic moments and has its awesome moments. But again, just re-experiencing it all, this arc really breathed life into me. And, and I'm like you said, I'm gonna steal one of your phrases, Mehgan. I'm living for it.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about this up front. I mean, because I was just so excited to talk about it. And as I was reading, I was getting, reinvigorated and wanting to, read even past it, because it was so easy to read and it was so fun to read. And it was just such a different experience that I had reading Soul Society again. Not that Soul Society is bad in any way. There are a lot of great moments, a lot of cool fights, but I just feel like I totally enjoyed this arc more. Maybe because we took a break and came back. Maybe that's a reason too why
play a part in it.
I really enjoyed it, but overall it was just everything I like about Bleach and more.
And like you said, the next arc is only 22 chapters. We're going to be able to blow through that. And like you said, I am so excited and had to actively stop myself from continuing because I was just having such a good time. So with all that said, stay tuned for that next arc. We don't know exactly when we're going to be covering it, but I can, with at least some confidence, say it won't be as long.
No. It is just like the longer arcs will take us more time to get through, but something like this, I don't see us putting it off for too long because it was just, 22 chapters, and it is something that we want to talk about.
Yes, and we still are trying to do our best with everything else that we're trying to juggle. We're in the home stretch of One Piece right now, and with everything we're trying to juggle, we are still trying to get as close to caught up as possible before the anime comes out. As of this recording, Anime Expo is happening in just a couple weeks. And they've announced that they're going to be releasing some more Bleach stuff. So I know everybody is really excited about all of that. We're really excited about all of that. And again, we're trying our best to still get as caught up as possible. By the time the anime comes out, that way we can sort of react to all of that and experience all of that with everybody else. We just ask again for your patience. We're trying, okay? We're trying to get to everything. And we're trying to make everybody happy, but we're also trying to make sure that we're happy. doing what we're doing. So thank you so much for your patience, and hopefully you enjoyed this episode and this discussion on the Arrancar arrival arc. And that's going to do it. But we're not done yet. Before we go, we do have to shout out and we do have to thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing, our Patreon members. Thank every single one of you, and our YouTube members. Thank every single one of you guys from the bottom of our hearts for all of your support. Your support means the absolute world to us. Without you, we would not be able to do what we do. It is because of you and your generosity that we are able to do the show at the level that we do it, and are able to have the freedom to dedicate the time that we have to dedicate towards reading and prepping and recording and editing and releasing all of these episodes. It's because of you that we're able to do that. And we really are leaning on our community for your support and appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts, because again, you know, you are the show. Like you are just a part of the show as we are a part of the show. We are all making this thing together, and that is what's so fucking awesome. And as corny as cheesy as that fucking sounds, it's the truth. It's the truth, and we love you, and we are so grateful every single day, every single Patreon member. We are so grateful,
and YouTube member,
We are so grateful for your support. So thank you for that. And if you're not a Patreon member and you would like to become one, then all you have to do to become a Patreon member is go to patreon.com/volume1pod, or to become a YouTube member, all you got to do is click join on this video. That's going to give you early access to all of our episodes, as well as access to a completely separate YouTube member and Patreon exclusive podcast. Only the members and Patreon members get it. An exclusive podcast called Volume 1 Extra, where we talk about anime and manga, but we also talk about everything else that we're watching, that we're consuming, movies, TV shows outside of anime and manga.
Life.
We talk about life. We talk about anything and everything outside of it, and sometimes even including it. It's a lot of fun. It's available in audio and video as well. And you get that on both places at our lowest tier. You get all those perks at our lowest tier on both places. Again, patreon.com/volume1pod, or click join on this video to become a YouTube member. I will say there is, it's kind of like up to you. You know, if you do want to show your support in that way, it's kind of up to you, because, you know, there's a lot of perks, I think, to being a Patreon member that aren't maybe, that you might not get as like a YouTube member, or vice versa. And I just mean, like, one of the cool things that, because of just like how it's kind of embedded into YouTube, one of the perks you get as a YouTube member that you don't get as a Patreon member is that when you're like in chat and stuff during our live shows, you get like an icon, like a special, like you get special emotes and you get special icons, and you get like things if you're like active enough in the chat, like you can gift memberships to other people, which we saw someone doing a live not too long ago. But again, you know, Patreon, I think, is a place that because of, you know, the YouTube cut, Patreon is a place where you can get all those perks for a little bit cheaper, because even though they're on our lowest level on both places, YouTube is slightly more expensive, but that is only because YouTube takes out a little bit more. So it just kind of balances out. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. They both have their benefits, and it's up to you if you want to support in that way, which one you want to join. But if you're at a place in your life right now where you cannot or do not want to and have no interest in donating and helping financially, do not worry at all. There are so many other ways that you can show your support that mean absolutely just as much to us, that you can do for free $99. And Mehgan will tell you all about those things right now.
Yeah. If you don't have any money to spare, don't worry about it. Don't even trip about it. You can do free things for our channel to help us out. You can comment on any one of our videos, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and it acts as a free tip to us and our channel. It really does help us out so much. It keeps the algorithm happy, and it really, really helps our videos, you know, go across the world to people who, you know, enjoy this type of content, anime, manga fans. And it does help us out immensely, and that is something you could do for absolutely free. You can comment your thoughts on Bleach, thoughts on Soul Society, anything, emoji, algorithm gang, anything at all. And it does help us out immensely.
Yeah, and sharing this video with other Bleach fans. If you're listening on audio, leaving us a review if you're able to there. Just view duration, all those things like help out so much. So thank you for any and all support, no matter how you choose to show it. It means so much to us. But now we are done, and that is it for another installment in our Dunkai series. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes. Which I usually throw to Mehgan, but I think I might have one today.
Okay. Wow.
Sorry about that.
What do you have?
I was going to say, mask off. You don't like it. You don't like it's not clever enough for you. So like mask on, mask off, because it's like the hollow mask. The Vizards are wearing masks. You really hate it.
Mask off.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until next time, mask off. It's like some fucking Power Ranger shit or something. I don't know. But okay, I'll keep working on it.
Where's the trash in Spanish?
Where's the trash?
Like the garbage?
Why would you say that?
Because Yami was always talking about garbage, and he speaks Spanish.
I mean, he said a couple words in Spanish. It's not like he was speaking Spanish the whole time.
He spoke Spanish more than other characters, I'll tell you that.
That's true, but he would just, he sprinkled it in. It wasn't like he was just like...
it was a lot.
That weird, like... Okay, well, let's keep...
Okay, I like mask off.
Okay, let's go.
How about that? No, I want to give you this one. Okay?
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
guess like you're giving me. It almost feels like pity.
It's not pity.
What is it?
It's not pity.
Okay.
It's
all right.
more
Your silence says it all.
Okay. Mask off. Ready?
Oh my God! Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time, mask off. Mask on, mask off. It's like a cool thing. It's like a yeah, like mask off. I think it was gross. It could have been something else. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of cool. I'm just trying to be cool.